Okay, so obviously you all know that I love Brussels sprouts. So one of the things I was saddest about when Knott said that, well, I mean, obviously Knott's isn't even open right now, but one of the things I was saddest about when Boysenberry Festival was postponed / canceled, we don't really know yet, was that I did not get to try the Boysenberry Brussels sprouts with balsamic drizzle and bacon. I don't remember the exact order of those things. So we made some. I would have shown you the whole cooking process, but that's boring. So instead I'm just going to tell you what to do. You make a pound of bacon. Preferably super crispy because they're kind of like bacon bits. Or you could just use bacon bits if you happen to have bacon bits.
Not maple flavored.
Oh yes, and not maple flavored bacon. Regular smoked bacon, like hickory, whatever. You do that. Then you take the bacon out of the pan, you let it cool, and then you crumble it. But then you can either throw your Brussels sprouts into the bacon fat, or you can just steam them. They are probably just steamed, it looked like, but we threw ours into the bacon fat because they're just better a little bit fried. And then you make a vinaigrette. So we used about 1/3 of a cup of vinaigrette, and then we added some boysenberries and juice until it was about 3/4 of a cup, and then it was still a little weak, so then we added some of the syrup that I mentioned in the other video. You could also add boysenberry jam if you don't have either of these. Boysenberry jam works the same. Also the punch mix, if you have that. But would be better, if you still have it, would be the boysenberry elixir, which was just the punch mix, but with more sugar. So, yeah. And then you cook it with the drizzle for a little, or the vinaigrette for a little bit. I think it's just drizzled on top at the parks is what it looked like, but to get the actual, like, boysenberry flavor, we cooked ours with the vinaigrette for a little bit. Then you put it all together, you put the bacon back in the pan and everything and do all that. Then you can throw some boysenberries on top like we did here. You could even add, they don't have this at the park, but this is Parmesan cheese. You put some Parmesan cheese on top. Brussels sprouts goes great with Parmesan cheese. And yeah, that's how we made this. You could also make it, or you could just watch me eat it right now, which I'm gonna do. So let's get Brussels sprout. Okay, well. Brussels sprout, boysenberry, pickle. The bacon adds a kind of nice smokiness to the dish. The Brussels sprouts have a like real nice, like, not earthy, but like bright flavor, kind of like leafy. You don't get a ton of boysenberry flavor. You mostly just get a kind of sweetness. It's because it's a vinaigrette, so it's very, very vinegary, obviously, vinaigrette. So you just kind of get a like nice hint of sweetness, and then if you actually put a boysenberry in your spoonful, then you get a nice like boysenberry burst when you're eating. But I think just on its own, it's not necessarily the most boysenberry of all the dishes, but sometimes that's not a bad thing. The boysenberry hummus comes to mind, but the first boysenberry hummus, which did kind of taste like boysenberry, but mostly tasted like refried beans, to the point where I thought it was refried beans, but they were calling it hummus. Yeah. Overall, I think this is super easy and super good. Obviously, though, I like Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts are my favorite vegetable. So if you don't like Brussels sprouts, I don't think this is going to be the dish that convinces you Brussels sprouts are good. But it just might. So, you know, if you can't find any other vegetable but Brussels sprouts, try this. You also don't have to add the boysenberries. You could just do it with the vinaigrette and maybe a little bit of, like, sugar to sweeten it up a little bit. because I think the sweetness, it really helps cut the like super vinegary taste. But overall, I think this is great. I'm gonna eat the rest of this, but off camera. I'm gonna take another bite of it on camera for you guys though, and I will see you in the next one.